So, over the past few years, there's been a real increase in the amount of public demonstrations about antinatalism, mostly in the form of people holding signs and doing outreach to members of the public. So, maybe most notably, we've seen Stop Having Kids in America, and also they have a group in India as well. But also, we've seen individuals like Danny Shine in the UK talking in places like Speaker's Corner, but also just generally around London. And also, recently, a guy in Israel as well, who is also holding signs and having conversations with members of the public. So we're seeing this general trend of an increasingly public presence of antinatalism on the street, talking with people and challenging the regular perception of the ethics of procreation. And one of the most recent groups to do this is Antinatalism Japan. So very recently, Antinatalism Japan held a demonstration in a part of Tokyo. One of the members, Asagi, posted up an update online showing some pictures from the demonstration and a bit about what happened. And he kindly agreed to speak with me a bit about the demonstration and talk about what it was like, what they did, and what some plans are for the future. So I'm going to play that now so you can see my conversation with him. And then afterwards, I'm going to quickly talk about a few points that I wanted to bring up related to this demonstration, but also demonstrations about antinatalism generally. So here's the clip, and then I'll see you afterwards. So now I'm joined by Asagi, who is a member of Antinatalism Japan, which is the group that recently had this event or demonstration in Japan about antinatalism. So we're just going to go over a bit about what it was like, what was the reaction, all of this sort of stuff. So first of all, thanks so much for coming on, Asagi. And yeah, second of all, like what was this recent demonstration in Japan by Antinatalism Japan?
Well, it was a street outreach event conducted by a domestic antinatalist organization, or shall I say vegan antinatalist organization, called Antinatalism Japan, which was formerly known as the AAPJ, the
Mm.
Association of Anti-Progressionism in Japan, for a couple of years after it was co-founded by Yuichi Furuno and me, Asagi Hozumi.
Cool. And what exactly did you do, and where was the demonstration?
We stood in line holding signs to try to gain the attention of passers-by, ready to have conversations with anyone talking to us. We did it near Harajuku Station in Shibuya City, Tokyo, because one of the attendants who is more used to doing this kind of outreach had suggested that it would be a relatively calm and peaceful place where people don't get too stressed and we'd be able to have proper conversations without
Mm.
getting ourselves in too much trouble. So we thought it would be the best place to do our first outreach.
Yeah, I think that's smart because I've done a lot of demonstrations like this before, but about animal rights, veganism, and it can definitely cause people to get for people to get frustrated or annoyed. But by no means everyone, but there's a certain um, type of person that when they walk past and see that, they get very agitated. So I think given that uh, doing this for antinatalism is still a quite a new thing, um, although we're seeing it become more common, it makes sense to do it somewhere where you can kind of test the waters a bit easily or easier, where you think people aren't going to get as stressed. Um, because I can definitely see antinatalism making people more frustrated than veganism. Um, and so, yeah, I think it's a smart move. Um, so, who were the people who attended the demonstration? Like, obviously, not like a list of names or whatever, but like what types of people types of antinatalist or whatever came to the demonstration?
Well, they are all members of ANJ, Antinatalism Japan, and they are what people call antinatalists. That doesn't mean they are all vegans. It only means they are anti-human procreationists, if you see what I mean. But
Mm,
as far as I understand, none of them are against veganism by any means. They agree that veganism is a reasonable and logical conclusion, especially for
mm,
someone who's already opposed to creating human beings. But some of them seem to struggle to actually become vegans.
mm. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there like that that sort of understand where veganism's coming from and almost agree with it basically, but just don't put it into practice. And I think that's why things like policy change and technological change are so important when it comes to veganism, because like there are some people who are just not going to change their behaviors, and so we can just simply swap out the things that they are buying. So, for example, like lab grown meat. I know it's still like a bit of a controversial topic with some people, but I feel like even if lab grown meat isn't perfect, it just means that there's going to be so many more people not paying for animals to be exploited that um, it definitely seems worth it to me. And I think it caters to the sort of person that you're talking about. Um, so you were saying that in the demonstration you were standing in a line holding signs, and you've already translated what the signs. So the signs were obviously in Japanese, but you've translated what they said and put them online before. So what I will do is put up on screen like the translations. But in general, what messages did the signs have?
Well, some of the signs had relatively straightforward messages, like the ones used by Stop Having Kids, saying "Stop having kids" or things like that. But some others we used says talks about things like what people are actually doing when they procreate.
Mm,
Obviously, unintentionally. They, no parents really want any harm on their children. We all know
mm,
that.
yeah.
By creating children, well, I should say creating people,
Mm,
they they force those who are created by them to go through, well, whatever's going to happen to them.
so did you or the other people at the demonstration have any conversations with members of the public?
Only one person talked to us to show their interest. They asked us if we had any leaflets or anything, which we didn't, and we'll need to make for future events. And they said they would check out our social channels if any of the viewers are interested. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, YouTube, and even LinkedIn.
Oh wow. LinkedIn next level. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's nice that someone showed interest like that, because I can definitely imagine, like, I don't know exactly what the climate is like in Japan on the ground when it comes to talking about antinatalism, but I can definitely see how if people if you see an antinatalist demonstration, there may actually be like stigma um about going up to it, because if someone goes up to that demonstration and is seen to have a nice, normal conversation, then it can almost be seen by other people as an endorsement, which obviously it isn't, but people don't think in logical ways. Um, and so I can definitely imagine that people would even be hesitant to go up and interact, even if they agreed, because of the nature of the topic it's seen as controversial and stuff. So I think it's a good sign that even one person came up um, and had that conversation, especially, asked about the stuff before. And it'll be cool um, if you guys do produce leaflets. If you do produce leaflets, definitely um, make a PDF copy available online, because it'd be interesting for other people to see, because other people in other countries can translate it and use similar material. But also other people around Japan who can't attend demonstrations like this one, they could print it off and use it in other areas of Japan as well. So yeah, I think that would be definitely worth doing. Um, what was the general reaction to the demonstration like?
Well, at the time of the outreach, we definitely got a lot of attention. People took pictures of us. Some of them were talking to their friends, saying, "What a weird bunch of people," and things like that.
Yeah.
We even got a couple of anti-vegan trolls who ate some fried chicken right in front of us and
Oh,
kept saying,
really?
"Meat tastes so good," and "Meat really is the most nutritious food," and things like that.
Oh, wow.
Other than that, no one actively interacted with us apart from the one person I mentioned.
Yeah.
We we received some positive reactions on the internet afterwards when I posted
Mm,
some pictures from the outreach on antinatalist places like the subreddit or
mm.
slash antinatalism and some Facebook groups.
Yeah, it's like anyone watching this who is involved in some sort of demonstration, it is 100% worth it to get video or photographs of the demonstration and put it up online, because for there's maybe more reasons, but there's like two reasons that I think. Um the first one is that um other antinatalists will see it and it will help encourage them to do the same. And also the people who you're trying to reach, when you're doing the demonstration, are just members of the public. And if you put it online, if you capture it and put it online, you can reach those same people, but on a different, through a different medium. Um, so I definitely think it's worth, even if you're just posting saying, "Hey, look, we did this. Here's a bit, here's a few details about what happened." That is definitely worth it, because it helps to encourage others to start being active in some capacity. Um, so do anti-natalism Japan plan to do more of these demonstrations, or are there any other events coming up in the future that people can look forward to?
Well, of course, the one we just did in Harajuku, we hope that's just the first of many. We spent a lot of money on this signs, so might as well make full use of them. And
Mm,
even without it, I think it's important at this stage to let people know the existence of this philosophical position, that it's okay, it's possible to question what has been done for the last few thousands of years and more, to let them know that it's okay to say, no, I don't want to procreate because I think it's morally wrong. We can only do so much of it by posting stuff on socials. It'll reach people who spend some time on the internet and have some
mm,
interest in similar kind of things. But by doing this kind of outreach we did, we can hopefully spark conversations within people who barely spend any time thinking about the immorality of procreation or animal exploitation. So we'll definitely do more of this in Tokyo and near Tokyo again. And it'll be great if we can also do this outside of Tokyo in, let's say, places like Osaka. And there are few things we learned from this event and want to change when we do something similar in the future. One of which is that people might see us standing with signs about human procreation and veganism, and they think that we are some kind of anti-human extremists who just hate humanity to a very extreme degree. So
Mm,
I'm thinking about changing the colors of vegan focused signs so they'd be based in green and have pink characters on them instead of green on pink, which we currently have. I'm hoping that'll ease whatever confusion potentially caused by seeing both antinatalist and vegan signs at the same time. And another thing is that there are so many tourists from other countries where we did our outreach, and there will definitely be many where we do the next ones too. So we're gonna need some signs in English as well as Japanese to really maximize the effect of street activism in the future.
mm. Yeah, I've got two um, uh, things to say, maybe just quickly, things to consider for the future. The first one is that uh, it would be really good to at least have one or two signs in English. One for the reason that you said that there may be tourists and stuff. The other one is that if you are going to post stuff online as well, it's really good to have signs that have the Japanese and the English because I'm sure one thing you've seen is that Stop Having Kids on their social media has images where it's just someone, you see this person holding a sign. Now, obviously, if people want to be anonymous, you can take a picture of them holding the sign, and I know that you're a very good photographer as well. um, and you can blur the face out, or put something over it that anonymizes the person, but you have a picture of the sign. And if it's in English, the spread will be a lot more, or the reach will be a lot more online, so it can really help social media. And the other thing that I thought when you were just talking is, if you're planning on doing future demonstrations, it's likely that you will get some media attention as well. And so it may be worth, and if you want to get media attention, if you actively want to get it, reaching out to certain media outlets, letting them know that you're going to do a demonstration, actually does work, and they can turn up. Like we've done that before in demonstrations I've been part of, and the media has turned up. Um, so if media attention is something you're looking to get, it may be worth putting some thought into, like, um, what you want to say when it gets to that point. If someone quickly comes up to you and says, "Oh, can I quickly get some, you know, sentences for a newspaper article or something?" It may be worth having something ready so that you can then just give it to them. Um, but yeah, it sounds really good what you guys have done, and I really appreciated the photos you put up, and the little update on social media. I thought that was really good. um, and yeah, hopefully it'll just grow in the future, and Antinatalism Japan, or ANJ, will become more well known, not just in Japan but also, like, around the world. I think what you guys are doing is really good. um, but yeah, is there anything else you wanted to say before we close off?
Well, let's not procreate and have a good day.
Nice one. Those are two good points. I like it because it's like, don't bring anyone else here, but since you're here, try and have a nice day. I think it's a good message. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Asagi, and giving us an update about the demonstration and also, some plans for the future. I think it's going to be good to put this out there because it will encourage other antinatalists to do the same in their country, and it'll be really nice to start seeing a mosaic of different demonstrations around the world in different languages and in different cultures. I'm looking forward to it growing in the future. So thanks so much for what you guys are doing in Japan. So that was my conversation with Asagi from Antinatalism Japan. And now what I wanted to do is just lay out a few thoughts I had about public demonstrations when it comes to antinatalism. And I did mention these in my conversation with Asagi, but I just wanted to reiterate them here so that they're in sort of like a concise fashion. So the first thing I think is worth doing is if you are going to be doing demonstrations and you are comfortable with being a public face or having more of a public presence as an organization or as an individual, then it's really worth reaching out to media to tell them that you're going to be doing demonstrations, because I have been parts of many groups in the past that have reached out to media and the media have turned up and done a story on it. Now, those have been related to veganism and animal rights, but I see no reason why they wouldn't do the same for antinatalism. And in fact, because antinatalism is more controversial and more obscure, I actually think they probably have more of a reason to want to do it. And I think this is one way of multiplying the impact that the demonstration will have, because it's all very well and good having a demonstration in person, but the only people you're going to reach is the people who you actually interact with on the day. But if you're able to get media attention, you're then able to use the platform of the media group to spread your message. And so I think it's well worth trying to get media. But if you do try to get media and you do get it, you need to be prepared. So I would also advise people to have an agreement with the people at the organization to, if media turn up, direct them to one person in the demonstration who is assigned as the media person, and have some sort of statement or set of statements ready to give to them, either verbally or even have them printed out, maybe have a press release printed out that you can either send them ahead of time to encourage them to come along, or if they do come along, to give them physically. The second thing I want to say is if you do a demonstration and you don't get a pre-established media or a pre-established media organization to come along, definitely promote it on your own social medias. Promote it, I think, in your native language, and also try and get an English version up as well, because it will have a much bigger reach. And generally, people like to see someone's face. So usually it's quite good to have the message with someone's face in it, maybe someone holding a sign. If you want to do it anonymously, you could wear a mask, which many organizations have done in the past. And in fact, sometimes the mask can actually draw people in more because it adds some mystery to it, especially if the mask has some sort of pre-established cultural significance. And the third thing I wanted to say is that I think it's important to share when you do these things, not just because it'll reach more people, but it will encourage other antinatalists to become active. Not every antinatalist has to do the exact same thing. Not everyone is built for going out in public, holding a sign, or doing other things that demand something similar. But everyone has some sort of skill set that they can use to help promote this cause. And so try to have a think about how you can use what you're good at and what you're comfortable with to talk about antinatalism. And it could be everything. We need a diversity in approach. So those were some thoughts I had inspired by this demonstration in Japan by Antinatalism Japan. I want to thank Asagi for coming on and talking to me about the demonstration and also being part of the demonstration as well. Let me know what you thought about this demonstration. Let me know if there are any demonstrations that have happened in your countries or ones I may not know about, and I'll see you in the next one.